Hey everybody, it's Maureen of Maureen97 Designs, and today I have that planner video that I promised you. In the last video I posted, I showed you my Dutch door insert system that I created just to try it out, and then I said I would do a video showing how I kind of set it up further and how I use it. So that's this video. And I'm going to be using a stamping tool called the MISTI, which stands for Most Incredible Stamp Tool Invented, and this is the mini size. It also comes in the original size and the memory size, which is 12 by 12. So you can actually stamp on an entire 12 by 12 piece of scrapbooking paper. And this mini one is great for card making, but also great for stamping in your planner if you have smaller sized inserts or small pieces of paper that you're gonna put into your planner. And then I also have the original size here. Let me zoom out just a bit so you can see the difference in size. This is the original and this is the mini. So I'm going to briefly just talk about the fact that this is meant for stamping, as in like if you're going to be making cards, especially multiples of cards, but I found that it actually can work really well in the planner as well, and it's not something you need to brush out and buy, but if you like precision stamping in your planner, it's a really helpful tool. And I like things to be stamped pretty much perfectly, or it kind of bothers me myself. So I really like the fact that I can use my MISTI for stamping in my planner. And the whole point, or one of the main points of the MISTI, is that you put your stamps in here and they cling to the lid, and when you put down the lid they stamp after you ink them up, of course. And if you close that lid, as long as your paper doesn't move, that stamp is going to stamp in exactly the same place every single time you close that lid. And that is the best thing for if you stamp a stamp in your planner and it's not stamped quite enough, like there are bits missing from the lines. You can actually re-ink your stamp, close that lid down, and it's going to stamp in exactly the same place to fix that image that you partially stamped. So that's why I like it for my planner, because if I have partial images, that bothers me a little bit. So I can use my MISTI to stamp over that and make the perfect stamped image. So first of all though, in my setup, you can see that I've actually dated the weekly view on the top with these tiny little stickers, and I actually just made these myself. And you can see those. This is a skinnier font and this one is a thicker font, and they're actually my handwriting. I use this fun program app on the iPad. I think it's called iFont Maker, and you can actually make your own fonts. So that's what I did. This is my thinner one and my thicker one, and super fun. Anyway, so I use the thinner ones for the weekly view up on the top because there's not a lot of room, and the script at the top is kind of light and airy looking, so I thought it went together with that. But then for the dailies, because I stamped this day and it's kind of a fatter, heavier inking, I use the thick font for the dailies. So you can see I already did some stamping in this because I wanted to prepare ahead of time to make sure everything was working okay. So what I stamp for all my dailies is I put the day of the week. I put this little 2-section box, and that is my coffee tracker. I keep track of how much coffee I drink every day. And then I have this little mailbox for if I get Happy Mail that day. And I put it on every single day, even Sunday. You can see I put it even on Sunday, because nowadays, if we have big packages that are ready to go on Sundays, the post office actually will deliver them on Sundays sometimes. So sometimes I get Happy Mail on Sundays. It's awesome. And then it just saves me the trouble of having to remember, okay, I'm not going to stamp the mailbox on Sunday, because you don't get mail on Sundays, but you stamp it every single other day, and you know, it's just easier to just stamp everything the same, and then I can just put under here if I don't get any mail, no mail for that day. So I explained already how the pages worked, and so you can see I stamped Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then my Thursday is blank. So let me show you how I'm going to stamp that Thursday, and I'm going to use my Tuesday as a guide, and I'll show you a neat MISTI trick. And where did I put my mini? Here it is. Oh wait, actually I wasn't going to use the mini, I was going to use the original. If you can only afford one MISTI, because they are kind of pricey, but they're totally worth it. If you can only afford one, I would really go with the original size, because the mini can be a little bit too limiting, especially if you're using bigger inserts like B6 or A5 size inserts. But even this one, it's kind of a half of a mini happy planner size. I feel more comfortable stamping it in here, especially because I have that fold out portion, and you don't want to fold it under and then stamp over that fold underneath, because you'll get lines in your stamping. So ideally you'd want to have it out like this. So that's why I'm using the original size MISTI. And then I'm using this stamp set from Mommy Lay Designs. It has the days of the week and then numbers if you want to do the numbering for the dates, an exclamation point, and 2 brackets. So I'm just using the, what does that say? Can't read it backwards. That's Tuesday, so I'm going to need the Thursday stamp. And then here I have my other 2 stamps. This is the 2 section box and my little mailbox. So let me show you this super cool MISTI trick. So what I'm going to do is I already have my Tuesday lined up how I wanted it, and I'm going to want my Thursday pretty much exactly the same. I want the boxes in the same place. I want the mailbox in the same place. I want the day of the week kind of in the same place. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but I kind of want it in the same place. So all you have to do is position your stamps, and because they're clear, you can see through them. You position your stamps over where your stamped image is. So I can get, it's easier to see with this little box stamp. Of course my stamp is really dirty, so you can't see through it. But I can position it right over where that box is, already stamped on my paper. And then I can position my little, oops, and I knocked it out of place. That's okay, because you can always reposition. Until you close that lid, these stamps are infinitely repositionable. So when I get it how I want it, then I'm going to close the cover and press down. And that picks up the stamps on the lid, and you can see they're all in the lid now. And now what I can do is actually move my Tuesday out of the way and put my Thursday in, and I'm just using a magnet to hold it down. And you make sure it's all the way in that bottom corner. When you're stamping, you want to line it up in the exact same place every time you stamp, so that it comes out in the same place when you stamp your new images. And then I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink because it's one of my favorite stamping inks. It's really nice and dark black, and it stamps really crisply, but it does take a while to dry, so if you're wanting to stamp and then write on it immediately, I would suggest a different ink that's faster drying. So you can see I just stamped or inked up my stamp images. I'm just going to close the lid, and I'm not going to try and position it anyway. I'm just going to kind of close it most of the way and then let it fall the rest of the way. The hinges will take care of the placement of the lid on its own, so you don't have to worry about where everything is going down. So I just press and I get the perfect images. And if I didn't get the perfect images, I could go back, re-ink this, close the lid again, letting it close on its own so that it'll go back in exactly the same place, and I can put the pressure on the stamps to get them stamped, and I would get it in exactly the same place. You wouldn't know that I actually stamped that twice. So that Thursday is done, and now I'm not going to switch to Friday or Saturday or whatever the next day that I'm missing is. I'm going to get out all my Thursday pages. Because I have my stamps all lined up, I'm going to want to stamp them all at one time for that one positioning. So again, I just ink it up with my VersaFine and make sure my paper is lined up in that bottom corner. and let it fall. You don't have to press too hard, but there are actually, because I'm using stamps from 3 different stamp companies here, there is a chance they could be different heights, so that if one is taller, it'll hit the paper first, and if one is shorter, which I know this mailbox one is a little tiny bit shorter, I have to press a little bit harder to get it to reach the paper, whereas these 2 stamps are about the same height and they're taller, so I only have to put a little bit of pressure. And you can see I got it stamped perfectly again, and look at that. You can see they're in the same place on the papers. So I'm going to go through, stamp all my Thursdays, and then my Saturdays are next because I already finished Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And then all I need to change out for my Saturday is just the day of the week, because my coffee box and my mailbox are going to be in the same place on those Saturdays. So that's pretty much all there is to the stamping portion of my Dutch door insert. So now let me show you how I'm using this. Let me put this all back together and get a couple more supplies, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have my essential supplies that I need just for now, and I'm going to show you, if you're not aware of it, a good tip for handling tiny little stickers like these. These are a 1/4 inch circle. So a tip for handling little stickers like this is to use a pair of tweezers. These are reverse action tweezers from We Are Memory Keepers, and they work really well for grabbing stickers, and then you don't have to hold it shut to hold that sticker tight. You just need to put it where you want and then let go. So there, I put my 13 on Thursday, and then my Friday already, whoops, oh no, that is the 14th. And then when I stamp my Saturday, then I'll put the 15th underneath, and I already have the 16th. So that is a good tool to use. Also whiteout and my favorite gel pen. So let me show you how I use my coffee box. I have this sticker album from Happy Scrappy, and this is my drink album. And so I have a whole ton, because I'm a coffee addict, I have a whole ton of coffee stickers. So what I do is I just get a coffee sticker and put it right in that smaller box, or the smaller portion of the box, to represent coffee. And then I have a little coffee bean stamp. Let me see if I have it stamped. Here we go. I have a little coffee bean stamp that I stamp every time I drink a cup of coffee. I stamp my bean 1 time. And then you can see that was a different sticker. That one was from Once More with Love, and then this one is Coffee Monsters Co. And then what I do when my mail comes is I just put a number and what company it's from, and if I want to put what it actually was, just like a general regular order, maybe a birthday box, anniversary box, special charms or whatever, then I would write it underneath, and that's about it. And then my notes section, what I do, oh wait, so for the top part I would put in appointments, things where I have to drive my mom to appointments, or if I have appointments, or if the kids have like guitar lessons or what have you, ukulele lessons. For the notes section I would generally leave it blank, although I kind of wanted to stamp something in here because it's a really big space to have for notes, and I don't usually take a lot of notes because I put them in my dailies. The notes section would be something that doesn't correspond to a specific day. Maybe just a thing I'm thinking in my head that I don't want to get lost in the dailies. I want to have it right here, like if I remember, oh, I need to buy something at the grocery store or at Costco, then I would stick it in my notes section instead of in my daily section where, you know, I turn the page and it's gone. So I would put that in my notes section, but it's a really big space. So what I have been actually wanting to do is stamp different decorative stamps. This is from Planner Street. In that notes section, and it doesn't matter that it's got a grid underneath. I just kind of ignore that. I think it just, it looks cute anyway, even with the lines. And then what I do is I have a little planner pouch. Yeah, I told you I was going to get all the essentials, and then I didn't actually get them all. I have a little planner pouch. Here it is. I have this little kitty planner pouch that has a pencil sharpener in it and these awesome multicolored colored pencils from Koh-i-Noor. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. They're called Tritone pencils, and you can see on the barrel of the pencil, it has 3 color shades, and those 3 color shades are actually in the pencil. So you can see it a little bit easier with this one. You see how there's yellow, pink, and red, and then when you look at the tip, it's got yellow, pink, and red, and that is so cool. So I actually don't need to carry around a lot of pencils to get a lot of interesting color. I just carry around this basic set of this Tritone pencils, and I can color in my images, and it doesn't take up that much space. It's just this little bag, and I can throw it in my purse and be ready to color if I'm waiting, you know, because I take my mom to her appointments if I'm waiting for her to finish her appointment. So I think what I'm going to be doing is stamping images here that I can color on the go. So that's basically it for how I'm going to be using my Dutch door planner and how to stamp in it. And another recommendation for the MISTI, if you can afford it, totally go for it. It's so worth it, and you can do a ton of other stuff with it. I have a bunch of other videos using the MISTI on my channel. You can search them, and I have from very basic to really complicated techniques. You can also just search MISTI in the search bar of YouTube, and there are just a ton of MISTI videos, beginner ones and advanced ones. And the company who actually makes the MISTI is called My Sweet Petunia, so you can look them up. They have a channel as well, going from really basic to really advanced as well. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I will see you next time.